Welcome back. Now, improving body image is an ongoing process, and it is normal to have a few ups and downs. It's essential to embrace our bodies, and here to share a few tips on how to develop a more positive body image, we welcome back Jenine and Oyama. Ladies, now we have already discussed body positivity and accepting our bodies, but for our viewers at home that want practical tools, tips and tricks to overcome that hurdle, this is what it's all about. Now, I just want to start off with you, Jenine. Identifying and challenge negative thoughts. We all have them.
That's so important, you know. I'm glad that you raised that because that's where it all starts. Yeah. That self-talk, that inner critic, you know. So what we need to do is when we find ourselves thinking something negative, catch it. Catch it, literally catch it. And, you know, if you can, just box it, turn it into stone, whatever you want to do.
Throw it away.
Throw it away. and actually just say, listen, you know, you can actually, for example, if you say that my arms are too big, you're like, well, actually my arms are too strong, as an example.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
Replace the negative thought with a positive. Or think of the function of your arms. Well, if I, you know, what would I do if I didn't have arms?
Yeah.
That's powerful. I've actually never thought about that. Just rephrasing the wording, it goes a very, very long way. And this continues the conversation, Oyama. Recognize the underlying motivation for criticism. We all have that criticism within us. But just, where does it come from?
That is so true. And I like that you're saying you need to catch it because you can be, like, very quickly be in a dump and you don't really know what's going on, why you're feeling sad. So recognizing where that thought comes from and being able to shift that perception is very good. Because even for me this morning, I wasn't sure why I was feeling not so great. But the moment that I wore my dress, I was like, okay, maybe I know what's wrong, but I also know what's right.
There we go.
Know? Just, it's also in recognizing, okay, I'm criticizing myself, but why is it that? And also looking for solutions in terms of what makes you feel good. And for me, dressing up really makes me feel good. So I had to do it.
It just works. Like if you feel you look good, as the day goes by, you start to feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. I literally have a saying, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good.
Period.
And that's what it's all about. But ladies, we have really focused quite heavily on the physical attributes of body positivity and accepting and self-acceptance. But I also think it's exceptional and it's key to be able to underline and celebrate those non-physical attributes
100%.
and traits.
Because that nobody can take away from you. And that, like I said, that doesn't, early on I said, it, you know, those things, it transcends everything. It doesn't age. So, in fact, it just adds to your, to the person that you are. So your personality and your character. So focus on the kind of person you are, the inner person. Those, like, I'm a kind person, I'm loyal. You know, those kinds of qualities that you have to offer your friends, your family, also skills and abilities. I mean, try and continuously improve yourself in terms of your skills and your abilities so that you can also find your value in other things, not necessarily in aesthetics and how you look.
I mean, I like to say I'm the funniest person I know.
There we go.
No, but Oyama,
sense of humour is important.
Sense of humour is critical. You also spoke earlier on in part one just about surrounding yourself with the right people, with body positive people.
So important, because there's a term that says you are who you chill with. So the people that you hang around with, you end up being like them. I mean, it's not a coincidence when you start speaking your boyfriend's lingo, because you are hanging around this person, you're adopting their mindset and their lingo. So there's so much impact that comes with who you chill with or hang around with.
And unfortunately, the negative rubs off and hurts
as well. 100%.
More than the positive. Exactly. So you don't want to surround yourself with negativity.
Exactly. So I've always been an advocate of surrounding yourself with beautiful people that really affirm you as well, because affirmation is a big thing. Because
and that value you.
Exactly. So I'm for that.
It is so interesting, you know, to be able to step back and see that it's so true, Jenine. Sometimes negative affirmations, or I don't know if I can call them affirmations, but negative talk ends up sticking more than the positive about you.
Because we have this mental filter, right? We focus on the dot on the massive white sheet. The one little dot.
That black thing. You want to focus on that.
You know, in my next life, I'm going to study the brain. But now we're going to move on to just the tips and tricks around media portrayal.
Okay, so listen. If you're following an account and it makes you feel less than, or it makes you feel bad, unfollow that. I mean, you don't want to expose yourself to things that's going to make you feel bad. And also, I mean, it's difficult to totally cut yourself off from social media in this day and age. But you know what? What you can do is you can maybe be very mindful about when you start to compare yourself, or when you start to, oh, well, I want to do this, or I want to look like that. Be a bit more mindful and limit that kind of time that you're spending when you are on social media. Try not to compare yourself.
And you know, unfollow actually is a lenient way. I'd say block, because when it's unfollow, they're going to come back somehow on a suggested post. Just block them. They probably wouldn't even know that you did that.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting.
Protect your space, protect yourself.
No, that's very important, to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do it for you.
Exactly.
You have to look after yourself in that way.
And finally, ladies, I mean, Jenine, you just touched on it quite beautifully.
Yeah.
Avoid comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
Because what it does is it robs you of owning your own value. Because you're now going to focus on deficits and not your value.
True.
So don't compare yourself. That's very important.
And I like to say, I don't know if this is positive or negative, but I like to say there's always going to be someone prettier than you. There's always going to be someone richer than you. There's always going to be someone more intelligent than you. There will always be, there will always be, there will always be.
But there's only one of you, and that's your special power.
Ah, well, ladies, you have empowered me. I am feeling I'm every woman. Thank you so much for the conversation. I'm also sure so many of the gents that also watch our show are getting so many gems.
100%.
I appreciate you both. Mwah. Now, all body types are unique and diverse. They come in many shapes, sizes, and forms. But remember, we need to embrace and love our bodies just the way they are.
Guys,